Super Typhoon Mawar on its way to the Philippine region as a Category 5. Well, what a tremendous storm this has been to this point, and it is still an extremely powerful storm with winds estimated at 180 miles per hour and a pressure of 903 millibars. It's at 15.7 degrees north, 136.6 degrees east, and it's trawling just north of the westward vector, 284 degrees at 15 miles per hour as of 7 p.m. this evening in the Philippines. 290 kilometers per hour sustained winds there, with that pressure estimate as mentioned 903 after peaking earlier at around 901. An extremely powerful storm that will gradually weaken soon. Whether that trend is starting now or not remains to be seen. But here it is with its quite extensive wind field, although it is fairly compact as far as typhoons go, and we noticed that ever since it parted Guam just a couple of days ago. Nonetheless though, it is extremely powerful, 1255 kilometers from Samar, 1323 from Catanduanes, 1560 from Santa Ana, 1670 from Manila, and 1870 from Taipei in Taiwan. All of these locations could get significant impacts from the storm, although of course it's the further north areas that we're most concerned about. We have more updating information on our automated stream, currently calling for around a 50% chance of tropical storm conditions on the Batanes Islands. But the primary hazard at the moment, as we are still a little bit away from this impact, is rip currents. Dangerous sea conditions will begin soon in the northern Philippines, Taiwan and the Ryukyu Islands of Japan, and will continue for many days. Other land impacts do remain uncertain, but strong winds and heavy rainfall is a clear possibility also for these regions, but it's to the extent of that that we're not sure about yet, and that's going to become clearer as time goes on. Well, here it is right now as we stand, and this is the expected forecast over the next few days, moving quite quickly at first, and then it really starts to slow down as it closes in on those islands, and then by the time we get to the early part of this coming week, it will probably slow down, maybe even to a stop to the east-southeast of Taiwan, south of Japanese islands, but there is quite a bit of uncertainty exactly where it will go. Some models suggesting, or model ensembles suggesting that it could move right through into the South China Sea, others calling for a full recurve out towards Japan, and other schools of thought still have it trending right into Taiwan before moving westwards. 180 miles per hour is the latest estimate, although other agencies are starting to decrease their estimates on it now, and I expect that we'll be following suit fairly soon. But 180 miles per hour, the established peak of this storm so far, very, very impressive. This is the JMA cone. They're also calling for the storm to slow down. JTWC showed the same thing on that graphic before. The general trend is quite clear. Certainly the next 24 to 36 hours, it's quite plain to see with decent confidence that it will continue to move west-northwestwards, and who knows what happens after that. Here's the GFS forecast, and you can see once again, there it is, moving up and then starting that recurve, but stalling quite a bit, and later on in this GFS run, it actually takes it back towards the west, but up to the 7-day period there, that's what it does, and it does lose a lot of strength as it slows down and stalls over that area, obviously, as you would expect, especially still we're quite early in the season. So that will probably expedite quite quickly compared to what it would be in August, September. But there it is, ferocious and tropical storm force winds probably reaching those islands, the Batanes Islands, and possibly the Calayan Islands as well. And here is the simulated radar showing extremely high amounts of rain near the center of the storm, but it does remain offshore. So it's those outer fringes and the bands of the storm that will really likely be the judge of how much rain impacts we'll see on these islands, the Philippines and on Taiwan. Indeed, there's quite a bit of rainfall further south there across the central to southern Luzon, so it could be the case that places far away from the center of the storm actually get the maximum rainfall. And here is the GFS's take on how much rainfall is expected to fall in that 7-day period and how it's distributed over that time frame. And you can see there as the storm starts to do that recurve and stalls enormous rainfall amounts out at sea underneath the main part of the storm. But you can see elsewhere over the western coast of the Philippines actually significant rainfall amounts. The Batanes Islands getting 4 inches there, just above that, 100 millimeters. Taipei getting nearly 3 inches, 75 millimeters. But some areas along the western coast near Baguio in the Philippines there getting up towards 8 inches, that's 200 millimeters, and a few other locations mainly in high elevations getting that close to that amount as well, further south in Luzon. Current sea surface temperatures are good, 29 degrees Celsius at least. These are probably reading a little bit low, and those temperatures will start to drop as it moves further towards Taiwan, but they'll still be okay at first, dropping to around 26 degrees off the coast of Taiwan. Of course, if the storm stalls, then obviously upwelling will begin within 24 hours and the storm will probably really fall apart under those conditions as those sea surface temperatures will dissipate. And this is the imagery in the last, this is the last visible cycle of the storms. That was throughout the course of Friday, and you can see just how beautiful it looked on that visible imagery. There's some late imagery from the True Color. This is on the Force 13 satellite imagery on the website. And you can see its general motion there, west-northwestwards, just north of west actually, and there it is on the infrared view. Extremely impressive eye, very rounded, very symmetrical, and very warm as well, probably around 20-21 degrees Celsius eye there, and those cloud tops maintaining round about upper -70s into the lower -80s all the way around that eye, although 1 or 2 little gaps have started to appear in those later frames, particularly on the western side there, that it's starting to just decay a little bit, but certainly still looking very impressive and likely to retain category 5 for a little bit longer yet as the threat to the coastline increases.